about Green. If Green keeps saying they keep saying Green was if Green was off limits, it means they're trying to acquire someone else. And there's also another one. There's Carlos Dunlap, who is 30 years old and has
He
similar.
would kind of stand up. He's kind of that Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith body style in a 3-4. You move him around. He can go inside, outside, stand up, inside. Look, it makes
Yeah,
sense
but
to
he's got the
me.
size, Jay. You know what? Now how big he is. You know what size he is?
6'7", I believe, isn't he? Or 6'6"?
6'6",
Yeah.
280. Does that not fit the mold for Mike Pettin,
Yeah,
defensive lineman, versatility pass rusher?
yeah, he's another one of those athletic freaks that he's Julius Peppers without the production.
Yep. And
I
I'm
would
just
rather
saying,
if we're looking at those two, honestly, I'd rather have Atkins at this point. I think Atkins is the more consistent player at the same age. What do you think?
I don't know, because Atkins is only 1 year older, and he just put up 10 sacks the year prior as a defensive tackle.
Yeah, and I think to me Atkins takes Lancaster off the field for me, which
He
helps.
would.
And that, and
And
whereas
then you
Dunlap, I think Dunlap takes snaps away from Rashawn Gary, which is something I don't want because well, unless you're telling me
we don't want the growing to.
that Fackrell is involved in that trade, then I'll take it. I'll take Dunlap and
Maybe.
Fackrell in a fourth all day long.
But yeah, looking at it now,
Because then he still takes Lancaster off the field a lot of times because you still got Adams and Kingsley. Boy, yeah, either one is if as long as Fackrell is a part of a Dunlap trade to get him out, so that I'm not worried about him stymieing the growth of Gary. Because Gary is getting better. He's flashing on the screen more and more each
yeah.
week, both in the run game and when he gets in passing situations. He's doing his job, and he's only going to get better as he gets to learn the pass rushing moves. But
So base salary and prorated bonus together would only be about 6-7 million for Geno Atkins for base salary and prorated bonus. Next year it goes up to 9 million, but that's also, you got to think, that's prorated as well
yeah,
for 2020.
that's going to be interesting coming into the trade deadline and such. So
Folks, if Gutekunst pulls off a Geno Atkins trade, I have had a thing for this guy since he came out of college. He has been a stud year in and year out for Cincinnati.
look, I
I
will say this: in my Madden, I took the Bungles because they're the team right now that you can rebuild. And he's the only good guy on my defense, and he set the single season sack record in my 2019 season with 35 sacks.
will see. That's the thing. Atkins, he's not 6'4", he's not 270, but
He's a
he's
beast.
6'1", he's 6'1", 300 pounds. He's the same size as Daniels, but he's the player Daniels should have been, in my opinion. Packers always envisioned him as being like this force on the inside, and it just feels like Atkins at 31 years old. He has 2 more years on his contract after this. Why not add him in there? I mean, Calais Campbell's an older defensive tackle, and look what he's doing. He's still destroying people. Sue is still destroying people. There's older defensive tackles out there that still do damage. Derek Wolf is another one. Defensive tackle, tearing it up. Snacks
Well,
Harrison, he's not as old, but he's an older defensive tackle
and it
for
it is a
for the age
need.
group that's in the NFL.
Much as people don't think maybe it is. It's not a glaring need. Like this defense will be just fine,
It would shore up the run
but
defense
it would
by
it
a
would
mile.
it would it would it would heal a scar, let's say. Like there's a
I
wound
mean,
in this defense, but there's a wound in every defense. You get a player of any of those guys we're talking about, and it creates a scar where that wound was. And
Geno Atkins,
I'm okay
does
with either way. Like Don't get me wrong. I will be absolutely excited if any of this stuff happens. Any move, really, to me, that I feel like is a move that is for what we would consider just assurance to make sure that they can do what they're trying to do, win a damn Super Bowl, is going to make me excited. But by no means, when I say that, do not mistake that for the fact that if nothing happens come by the time trade deadline comes,
We're still a contender,
it's not going to make me go, oh, well, they don't give a shit, just up this same old crap. No, because I still believe that the team, the way it's built right now today, even if they promote practice squad players or whatever at some point, I think they are going to be just fine, and they will grow, and they will be contenders even if they don't. So I just think we're in a win-win situation here, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, if we get something else, because right now, no need is saying like, ooh, nah, because everyone, I get it. We were on the wide receiver 2 train, not us, but the Packers fan base.
Oh,
was
even
on the wide
us.
receiver
I mean,
2.
we've said that it is a need.
But I'm talking about screaming it from the mountaintop. Some people were literally
not
screaming
that bad.
it. Yeah,
we
people were screaming
acknowledged
from the mountaintop. And last week, folks, in Oakland, late night, Oakland coming to us, we had every one of our receivers step up. Graham, and I looked this up, last time he had a 100% catch radius of catches and targets of 4 minimum, plus a touchdown, was in Seattle. That's the first time he's ever done that with Green Bay. And he keeps improving each week, the past 3 weeks that I've mentioned last episode. He's run blocking. He's pass blocking with efficiency, not these little tink blocks where you're hitting him on the hip and just pushing him aside. He is pancaking defenders. Last week in Oakland, I saw him evade 3 defenders that I haven't seen him do ever in a Green Bay uniform. Now he's had a 100% catch rate in that game. He's bought in, and this is the Jimmy Graham we were wanting when he signed. This is the Jimmy Graham that we know and loved even when he was in Seattle.
This Jimmy Graham is growing into an $8.5 million a year tight end. He's got a ways to go before he earns that $11.5.
I mean, I'm not saying he's living up to his paycheck, but what I'm saying is he's
getting close. No, do you realize that that's a huge step? The dude deserved to be cut a few weeks ago. So to say that he's an $8.5 million tight end right now is a huge improvement. And guess what? I will give him this. He's never blocked like this ever in his career. Not like this. Like he's blocking like you would expect a 6'7", 250-pound athlete to block. Like cleaning people up. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think is refreshing. That it's not just that he's blocking. When he's blocking, he blocks. It looks like what you would expect from a man of his size and stature. Not like before when Jimmy Graham blocked, I'm 5'8", 168. I'm telling you right now, I can lay more boom than Jimmy Graham was putting out there on an NFL field. No shitting you. Because it's just pure, it's going to be pure effort. I'm going to put everything I got plus a bunch of that freaking Kamehameha Chi behind when I lay the wood. Okay? And that's pretty sad when the comparison in size to me and Jimmy. Now, Jimmy Graham looks like he's blocking like a guy his size and stature should. And that is refreshing in and of itself.
Yeah, and you know what? I was doing some research the other day on our tight ends coach as well for Packers. And you know what? We moved on from Brian Angelico, which was a McCarthy guy. This new fellow we brought in this past offseason, Justin Outen, or Outen. I can never remember his name. Outen. It's Justin Outen. I'm telling you, he was a big part on why the Falcons tight ends was doing so well. He was there in the 2016 Super Bowl run they had. And just saying, Kyle Shanahan was there. He knows how to work tight ends in this offense. He knows this scheme. LaFleur runs it almost identical to what Shanahan runs it.
Hey,
And
last thing I want to get to before we wrap the show up tonight,
yeah,
and it's because I teased about it earlier, but I want to bring it back to it because you've kind of touching base on it. It's back to this whole idea of this roster makeup and how this offense has really started to click and what we're starting to see. And I know that I teased earlier, and it's just because I love these guys, all right? I mean, people out there, I think the ones that know us the most know that all this shit that goes on between the four of us in this group is nothing but love. That's why it goes on. So I think people don't ever at any of us with some trying to, like, take somebody's side on us because it's not going to work out well for you because we all understand where we're coming from. But what I was talking about is the makeup and what – you know why I never bought into the 5 receivers, and it never really got stated because we always got sidetracked with picking on each other and ribbing each other. It's because I always felt like this offense was going to be more efficient with receivers coming out of the backfield because of the way Aaron was bunt. And when you watch when this offense is most efficient, I mentioned it on the post-game show, the schoolyard friendliness of this offense has backs and tight ends staying shallow on either side of the play at all times for when Rodgers has to roll out. He now, instead of having the run-pass option where it's bomb the ball or get what I can with my feet, it's we're not going to let our 35-year-old, almost 36-year-old franchise quarterback have to take any unnecessary contact. I'm not talking hits. I'm talking contact. I'm talking pushes. I'm talking touches. And so, therefore, it's whichever way he has to roll out when the play breaks down, he is going to have dump-off, big play ability. And it's beautiful. And it really makes the reason of having a 6th and 7th receiver that's a Shepherd type unnecessary because those tight ends and backs are being more prominent, and they're really using them.
well, there's one thing I wanted to touch
Doesn't
on.
mean that I'm not going into the. In all seriousness, I'm not getting into the right or wrong here about all the way back to the 50th million because we're 7 weeks in and shit's just different. I'm just bringing it up for just the fact of the pure what's going on the field purposes here, Dave, just so that we don't fall into some rabbit hole or ribbing each other over this shit.
Nope, you're good. But Justin out, and I wanted to bring up one thing. With him, the first thing I've been reading on him was the first thing he teaches anywhere he goes is receiving, and then by week, get this, it makes sense now. Week 4 between week 8 when he goes through, and he focuses on blocking because he said wherever he's coached has always had a colder weather outdoor atmosphere wherever he's coached. And I've looked, I mean, he's got everywhere with Syracuse. There's a lot of a bunch of Pennsylvania Division II.
Which would make sense for the huge block Aaron Jones threw down the field on that out and up route from NVS that went 74 yards.
Well, he's a tight ends coach, but that's what I was just saying is he even said the weeks 4 to week 8 where he coaches at, that's exactly what Jimmy's been doing. And it looks like this new tight end coach is paying off. Because last year that Brian Angelico didn't have anyone bought in. There was Jimmy Graham, Mercedes Lewis, Tanya. Nobody bought in last year. This new guy has a tight end we've never seen run block or pass block in his life, lay waste to defenders the past couple weeks.
It's been beautiful.
Now he's diving for catches. His touchdown catch was a diving, falling away catch towards the pylon, and he still made the catch. 5 weeks ago, Jimmy wouldn't have made that catch.
No. Not 2 weeks ago, he wouldn't have made that catch.
So this position coach we've gotten in Justin Outen, I'm giving him a shout-out because he has guys like Jimmy Graham buying into this system. If you have every part of your coaching staff implementing something and it's showing results in even the position unit, That's huge.